DJ General Mills.
As you know, I started off the show today with Savage Mode. And I'm telling you right now, that might be that right now that's early candidate for album of the year. Right now. That's right now. I get what everybody else saying and all that other stuff. Right this very moment, I got that as early candidate for album of the year. Let me pull up this track list real quick. Like early candidate. Right. Early candidate. So let me see. Let me pull this up right here. Early candidate. When I tell you early candidate, I got that like that whole album was riding front to back, straight up and down, front to back. Pulling up the track list right now. The intro was fire, straight up and down. Running, Glock in my lap. Glock in my lap and Run is what I led the show off with today. Running, Glock in my lap. Mr. Right Now with Drake on it. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna keep it real funky with you. That Drake line was a little, he talking about dating SZA in 08. On Twitter last night, they started showing people's ages and they were saying SZA was only 17. So, I don't know about that one. Many men is sliding straight up and down. Many men. The fact that they sampled 50 on that and they had, Many Men is riding straight up and down. Just the whole album, bruh. You got the song with Thug on it. Young Thug sound good. And Young Thug having a week right now because he just dropped that single with old girl, Megan Thee Stallion. So he having a week right now. Sliding, Many Men, Snitches and Rats. So let me tell you about Snitches and Rats. I liked, and let me just say this. I'm gonna talk to you about what really makes the album the best one so far. But Snitches and Rats, that monologue that Morgan Freeman put together right before Snitches and Rats dropped, that made it feel like it was just an album. It was past an album. It felt like, I don't know, it felt like it was just different. It was just different. His whole monologue just made it feel so different. And then Young Nudy was just on there rapping. And it's great to hear what he came from, I heard Young Nudy a few years ago, back when I used to do I did like some high school events and stuff. And so the kids always want to hear Young Nudy. And so, he East Atlanta a little, so everybody know him. But I love that record. I love My Dog. I love No Ops Left Behind. I love R.I.P. Love because that's showing a different side of 21. So I love that record because he's talking about, losing somebody. He talking about losing old girl in like a fire or something like that. So I like the fact that that's where he coming from. I really like that. So, it just depends on where you into, but I think this is early candidate for album of the year. And I'm gonna be honest with you, the reason why I think it's early candidate for album of the year is I think that the sequencing between songs is perfect, straight up and down, perfect. I don't think there was any better sequencing on any album out so far. Honestly, I'm just thinking about it. I'm just thinking about all the albums that's come out. It just made it feel like a movie. It just flowed naturally. It was just perfect in my personal opinion. So it was definitely worth the wait. Absolutely, it was worth the wait. I think the first Savage Mode came out 2 or 3 years ago. You got to remember that was Savage Mode that had No Heart on it, and X Bitch, and all them other tracks. So that was a tough album. But that was back when 21 had just started rapping. At that point, I think he had only been rapping for a year. He had only had a couple of projects out. So for him to go from that to this is complete left and right. It looks completely different. It looks completely different. So I loved all of that. That boy was spitting. And he was just talking about some real stuff. The fact that on one of the songs, I can't remember what song it was, 2016. My man, thank you, Rob. 2016 was when that came out. So it's 4 years. It's been 4 years. The fact that they sample Everlasting Bass on one of those. I don't know if you know about Everlasting Bass out there, but Everlasting Bass is from like the 1980s. And he sampled that and he threw it on there. I mean, it was just tough, bruh. Just tough, the whole album. So that's my candidate right now for album of the year. Now we still waiting on Drake. I do think Young Thug is gonna drop an album. I have heard that Kendrick and J. Cole are both ready. They're both ready to drop. They're just waiting for the right time. Apparently they would have been dropped if it would have been for, it was some other things. But they would have dropped a while ago. I'm assuming COVID related reasons. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But I got this right now, album of the year. I'm trying to think if there was any other tough albums that came out. I mean, obviously, just a few weeks ago, Moneybagg Yo came out with his album with Black Youngster. It was cool. It was nice. There was no bad songs on it. But when I think about an album, I always think about an album has to be the closest thing to a movie. The sequencing has to be perfect. Everything has to feel natural. Everything has to be like, it just has to feel like you're telling a story. That's what I felt like this did. You got Morgan Freeman on. He come with the intro. He letting you know, hey, this is what time it is. This is the type of mode we on. And then 21 is spitting. He's letting you know all the issues that he's gone through. The whole UK incident, losing friends, dealing with all the different women. Like, he's letting you know, he's telling a story. And I think that's important because he talked about years ago, maybe in 2017, 2018 interview he did with The Breakfast Club, that his favorite rapper was Jay-Z. And that's interesting because he raps nothing like Jay-Z. He don't sound nothing like Jay-Z. He don't nothing. So he don't sound anything like Jay-Z. And yet he tells those stories. He gives you that feel. It really sticks with you. It really sticks with you. So man, shout out to 21 Savage. Shout out to Metro. Just shout out to that whole camp. Shout out to East Atlanta. East Atlanta pulling up right now, and they just dominating.
DJ General Mills.